Howdy. My mother's side of the family is all from North Carolina. Like way, way, way. I did the ancestry thing, and they've been in North Carolina since all time, forever. Um, and ow, ow, ow. I can't get on the phone for more than 5 minutes with somebody back east without leaving with the accent. But I'm also that person, I guess, when I travel, I tend to like accidentally pick up accents. It's not because I'm trying to be weird. It's not because I'm trying to be copycat. It's just sometimes I don't know. Let's see. Turn off volume. There. Volume. There. Okay. Shit. I didn't finish writing my flow. All right. Have you guys been practicing your mudra this week? Big same. You guys all do that? Okay, good. I'm not the only one. All right, let me make the comments big. Let's make sure you guys can see me in the chair. Yes. So for those of you who are new here, oh wait, it's not 10 o'clock yet. Shh. You have to wait until 10 o'clock. If you don't know what's going on in here, then you gotta wait until 10 o'clock. Oh, incense. Hold on. Joe Cabinets, it's almost 1 o'clock for you. It's 10 o'clock here. Sounds like you are on the East Coast, my friend. I am not. I am by the other ocean. Head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes. Head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes. Hoof, skouders, knie en teen, knie en teen. Hoof, skouders, knie en teen, knie en teen. Oh, wait, oren, ogen, pinch je on your nose. Hoof, skouders, knie en teen, knie en teen. All right, for those of you who are new here, hello, my name is Reverend Deborah. I am an interfaith minister, a movement facilitator, and obviously your shenanigan shaman. This is Tiny Yoga. What the fuck is Tiny Yoga? You know, when I named this class, I actually had somebody tell me that was the worst name ever because they're like, I think it's a kid's yoga class. And I said, that's okay. It's not. This is a 30-minute gentle flow for everybody and every space. All you need is a place to put your butt. It can be the edge of your chair. It can be your office chair, right? It can be your recliner at home. It can be the edge of your bed. Heck, you can even do tiny yoga in your car. You're going to have to modify just a little bit to make it fit in your car. Otherwise, you want to swing your legs out the door or get in the back seat because we know it's always more fun in the back seat. Let's see. The thing over there, can you join this yoga if you're you know what? You can join yoga no matter what you are, where you are. Yoga is a practice for everybody. And this, again, is a very gentle, simple flow that is intended not to, that is intended to help you explore your inner cosmos. So regardless of what label you give yourself, what you call yourself when you look in the mirror, I encourage you to join us in this class to explore what is within the self, those reflections within the self, not just the labels outside of the self. This class is intended to get us underneath all of those masks that we wear, all of the costumes that we wear, and allow ourselves the time and space to meet the true self within. Because the true self within is not any of those labels. So, yeah, of course. Come join. Come join. Now, remember, everyone, this is a CAYA space. CAYA stands for Come As You Are, because authenticity is the purest expression of your energy, and that's what we're here for. So, in the spirit of creating a safe space for everyone to show up exactly as they are, I encourage you to take personal responsibility with your comments and the way that you hold space in this space. Remember, authenticity is not arrogant. Authenticity is the recognition of value of self as well as value of other. Okay? Let's give it some practice. If we can't do it in here, you do get muted if you are disruptive or rude in the chat. I do have moderators. But I believe in all of you having the capacity to hold space for one another, to show up at very least with curiosity and willingness rather than with judgment and divisiveness, right? Right. There's a lot of places in the world you can go argue about shit. This is not the place. All right. Nope. Oops. I didn't mean to send an invitation. Sorry. Shit, TikTok. Whoever just got that, I'm sorry. Ignore it, please. I don't know how to uninvite you. Sorry. You ready? All right, my friends, if you would like to join us for a 30-minute gentle flow for everybody in every space, come and find somewhere to put your butt. Once you found a spot to put your butt, hey Nikki, once you found a spot to put your butt, go ahead and wiggle yourself to the edge of your seat. Remember, we are live on both TikTok and YouTube, so there's two options for how you can watch, and if one goes down, check out the other one. One will always stay alive. We're going to move through a gentle 30-minute flow, and we're going to move through a gentle like 20, 25-minute flow, and then we're going to close our session with our mudra for the week. Remember, our mudra for the week was a really easy Kubera Mudra, this guy, for abundance as well as clearing your sinuses and clarifying your inner vision, which we could all use some extra inner vision lately. So, if you'd like to join me for the flow, I invited you. Oh, I was on the FYP. Yay! Thank you, Badass Blind Woman, for telling me. Okay. Go ahead and find the edge of your seat. And we're just going to take a few moments to get into our body. Close your eyes. Listen to your breath. Don't try to change anything just yet. Just close your eyes and hold space. Take stock. Scan the self. See what's going on. I notice a little tension in this spot and that spot. I notice a little holding in my jaw. Maybe I notice my breath is a little bit shallow. I don't need to change anything just yet. I just want to take notice. Bear witness. And notice that in bearing witness, it changes itself a little bit, doesn't it? Allow that settling in to slowly pull you in. Notice the way when you bring your awareness to the present moment, everything else kind of falls into place. There isn't much that we have to do to be present, except be. We already are that. Human beings. Go ahead and give the breath a little bit more attention, deepening each inhale and exhale. Give yourself some sighs. Give yourself some wiggles if you need them. When you're ready, bring your knees to shoulder width apart. Place your palms face down on your thighs. Wiggle your toes around, ground your feet. Just whether you have shoes on or not, that's okay. Bring your attention to your toes, pressing them into the earth and releasing. Attention to your heels, pressing them into the earth and releasing. Both feet press into the earth and release. And let's take 3 big deep breaths to find our posture. Begin by inhaling through the nose, pulling the breath through the lungs and into the belly. And sigh it out. Inhale again to expand the ribcage in all directions, front, sides, and back. Big deep breath. And let it go. Inhale once more, lifting the heart and lifting through the top of the head to elongate the spine. Exhale, allowing the shoulder blades to melt down the back. Send the energy down through your spine, out your tailbone, into the earth, into the bottom of your feet. Exhale all the way. And just allow the breath to settle into a comfortable, steady rhythm of inhales and exhales. Use the breath as an anchor to pull you deeper into this present moment. When you are ready, go ahead and just slowly begin rolling the neck in whatever way feels appropriate to you right now. I encourage you not to try to pop the neck, but instead just to start with small movements, just getting familiar with where the muscles are at. You can roll the neck in one direction and then the other. You can tilt the chin up towards the ceiling and down towards your chest. You can bring the chin parallel to the ground and turn the head, gazing over each shoulder, back and forth. Find whatever movement feels good here and now. Remember, in this space, you are your own guru. Only you are in your body, so only you know what your body needs. Trust and be curious. Go ahead and come back to neutral. Inhale, pulling the shoulders up towards the ears. Go ahead and release the hands from the thighs and let the arms dangle down. Pull those shoulders up really tight towards the ears and drop them with the inhale, pull them up all the way. And one more. Inhale, pull them up to the ears. And exhale. Again, go ahead and move those shoulders however feels appropriate, rolling them forward and backwards. Find neutral again, and we're going to move into just little tiny twists. So turn your torso, take one hand and place it on the opposite thigh. Turn your torso and reach behind you with that other hand. So just you can place it on your low back, or you can reach around for the other thigh. Lengthen the spine, lifting through the top of the head. Big deep breath in. And exhale to release. Other side, reach across to the opposite thigh in the front. And reach the back arm around either to the thigh or just on the back. Long spine. Inhale. And exhale, come back out. Place the hands back on the thighs for cat-cow. Again, just honor what your body needs. Inhale, sending the chest forward, lifting the chin up, tipping that tailbone so the whole spine moves forward. Exhale, curve the whole spine back. Tuck the chin, tuck the tailbone. Exhale. Couple more. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Big ones. Exhale. Push back. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Return to neutral. We're going to move into little torso circles. So when we do torso circles, imagine that the spine, the tailbone is like a spoon, and we're rolling that spoon around the bowl of the pelvis. Yes. The hips, the whole hips. This is your bowl. You can place your hands on your hips, leave them on your thighs, wherever is comfortable for you. Move that spine, rotating in one direction. Stir up your guts. And then switch directions. Really focusing on getting into the front belly and the lower back. Back to neutral. Bring the hands together at the heart. Interlace your fingers and send your palms up overhead. Extend the arms. Push up. Keeping a nice long neck. Inhale. Exhale. Tip to one side to stretch. Inhale back up. Exhale, other side. Keeping the feet grounded. Inhale, back up. Release the arms. Shake out the shoulders. Give them some wiggles. And now we're going to interlace our fingers underneath our right thigh. Inhale that right knee up. Point your toe. Bring it into your chest. Nice long spine. Inhale, squeeze. Exhale. Kiss your knee. Whisper sweet nothings to it. Thanks, knees. Inhale, lengthen the spine again. And as you exhale, flex the foot and send it out in front of you. Now you can just hold here with your hands underneath, supporting the thigh, or you can keep it extended like so. Hands on your hips or on your chair if you need the support. Breathe. If you'd like to deepen this stretch, you can reach for your big toe and twist to the side. Options available. Big deep breath. Inhale again. Exhale, come back to neutral and release the leg, keeping it extended, keeping that foot flexed. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, forward fold down on that extended leg. Relax. Let your head hang. Breathe. One more. And slowly roll up, bringing that right leg back to neutral. Wiggle it out, and we're going to go for the left side. Interlace the fingers underneath your left thigh. Pull it up towards the chest. Inhale, squeeze, point the toe, squeeze towards the chest, nice long spine. Exhale, kiss the knee. Whisper sweet nothings to it. Inhale, lengthen the spine again, flex the foot and send it out in front of you. Again, you can support it, you can leave it hanging in the air, you can even twist, touching the toes and extending the other arm behind you. Breathe here, a couple of deep breaths. And exhale to come back to neutral. Release the leg, keeping it flexed and extended. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold down. And take 3 deep breaths here. Just hanging, relaxing in the fold. Let the deep breath create some space in the back, in the hips, in the leg. Go ahead and roll up on your next inhale. Bring that left knee back to neutral and then drop the knees to either side, and we're going to windshield wiper the knees. Hey, Jessica. Back and forth, back and forth. Do me a favor, guys. Share the live. TikTok be talking. Wiper the knees, back and forth, back and forth. Come back to neutral. Extend the hands out in front of you. Palms facing forward. Stretch your fingers open. Nice, big, extended fingers. And pull just with the muscles in your hands and in your arms. Pull those hands back like you're pressing your palms forward. Really push through the length of the arms and pull back with the fingers. As you're doing so, lift the toes up, pulling the toes back as well, doing the same things with the toe and the ball of the foot. Inhale. Exhale, drop the hands, pressing the palms in. Drop the toes, lifting the heels up. Exhale. Inhale, palms forward, toes up. Exhale, palms in, heels up. Couple more times. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Really extend through the arms. Inhale. Exhale. And release. Heel toe, those feet open, the knees open to goddess pose. So you want your knees about 45 degrees from your seat, okay? Yes. I've got a bump in my floor over here. From here, lower your left elbow down to the left thigh. Like we're going to come in and say something fun. Anyway, inhale to reach the right arm up, opening the chest. Lean back, gaze towards that right hand. Big, wide open stretch. Breathe here. Try to release any tension. Neck, arm, back. Breathe. Inhale. And exhale, back to neutral, and we'll go down for the other side. Right elbow down to the right thigh. Inhale that left arm across the chest and open. Twisting towards the back, gazing towards that back, that left hand back here. And breathe. Try to release the tension. As we twist like this, you'll find all sorts of holding spots. As you breathe into this space, see if you can loosen them up a little bit. Inhale and exhale back to neutral. Inhale, lengthen the spine nice and long. Remember, this is where you are your own guru. We're going to forward fold, go down as far as works for you. Whatever's comfortable for you, you are in your own body. Inhale to lengthen the spine. Exhale, forward fold. Keep that spine nice and long, tipping at the hips. Extending through the top of the head, reaching down for the ground. And release into your fold. 3 deep breaths. Inhale. Let it go. Inhale again. Lengthen your spine. Come out of your fold. Lengthen just a little bit. And as you exhale, walk yourself over to one knee and see if you can give that knee a hug. Breathe here. Inhale. Exhale. Lengthen the spine out again. Come back through neutral, over to the other side. See if you can hug that right leg. Breathe. Inhale again. Come back to neutral. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, roll back up. Heel toe, the knees back together. Hands on your hips or on your chair, and drop the knees to either side again. Windshield wiper the knees. Come back to neutral. Check on your posture here. Ground the feet by pressing in intentionally and releasing. Stack the knees over the ankles, thighs, shoulder width apart. Thank you guys. Hey guys, how are you? Nice long spine. Allow the allow the arms to hang by your side. Give the elbows a little bit of a flap, wiggle, relax the arms, relax the shoulders. Nice long spine. Inhale. Expanding the rib cage. Exhale. On your next inhale, bring your palms together at the heart. Exhale. Inhale, send the hands up overhead for a little back bend. Exhale, lengthen the spine again and twist to one direction. Doesn't matter which side. Then open your arms, placing the front hand on the outside of your knee and the back hand behind you on the back of your chair or on your bed. Inhale, lengthen the spine again. Exhale, look over that back shoulder in for a nice deep twist. We're going to take several breaths here. And just again, focus on releasing tension. Anywhere that's holding. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, slowly release. In the future, if you find yourself in a twist and have a sneeze, please safely come out of the twist before you sneeze. Thank you, Dee. All right, bring the palms together again. Send them up overhead. Little back bend. Inhale. Exhale, come up to neutral. Nice long spine. Inhale. And exhale to twist to the other side. Open the arms. One hand on that outside of the front knee. Take a deep breath in and exhale, gaze over that back shoulder. Several breaths here. Nice long spine. Keep that integrity of the posture and release any tension that you can. Some tension we're not going to be able to release, but other little bits we absolutely can. Create space with the inhale. Exhale, releasing tension. Inhale, deep breath in. Exhale, slowly release. Rest your palms on your thighs. Close your eyes. Bring all of your attention to the tip of your nose. Listen for the sound of the tip of your nose. Listen for the sound of the tip of your nose. Move your awareness down to the upper lip, the sensation of the breath moving across the upper lip. Inhaling cool air, exhaling warm. And pay attention to the color of the breath. Inhaling across the upper lip and exhaling across the upper lip. Move your attention down to the tip of your tongue. Imagine the sound, listen for the sound of the tip of your tongue. Listening for the sound of the tip of your tongue. Relax the tension in your face. And listen for the sound of the tip of your tongue. Move your attention down to the tip of your chin. All of your focus on the tip of your chin. Focus on the smell of the tip of your chin. Drag your awareness down your neck to feel into your heartbeat. Listen for the sound of your heartbeat. What does the sound of your heartbeat taste like? What does the sound of your heart taste like? Stay with the breath. Stay with the heartbeat. The taste of your heartbeat. Drop your awareness down into your belly button. All of your attention, all of your awareness into your belly button. Listen for the echo in your belly button. All of your attention on your belly button. Listening for the echo of your belly button. Move your attention down to the tip of your tailbone. The tip of your tailbone. What color is the tip of your tailbone? All of your attention on the color of the tip of your tailbone. Keep breathing. Move your awareness down to the back of your knees. One knee or both knees. What sound does the back of your knees make? What's the sound the back of your knees make? Listen for the sound the back of your knees make. Drop your awareness down into your feet. Wiggle your toes. Wiggle your toes. Wiggle your toes and press them into the earth. Push the toes into the earth and release. Push the toes into the earth. Wiggle them around like you're digging in the dirt. And relax the toes. Release. Release. Take a deep breath in and expand your awareness around your whole body. Soften the focus. Take in everything from the tips of your toes to the top of your head, the tip of your nose to the back of your knees, and everything in between. No need to change anything, no need to do anything. Just be in this space. If you would like to join me for holding the mudra for 5 minutes for this week, you can go ahead and open your eyes briefly in case you need it. This is called the Kubera Mudra. So you want to curl those last two, the pinky and the ring finger, into your palm and bring the thumb to touch the index and the middle. Yep, it looks like this. This is the Kubera Mudra. Both hands, curl those fingers, the last two fingers into the palm, and the first three fingers come together like this. All right. Go ahead and hold this mudra, the Kubera Mudra. Remember, the Kubera Mudra is for clearing the sinuses, balancing the sinuses. It also, by doing that, helps us clarify our inner vision so we can see our path ahead more clearly. With that, seeing our path ahead more clearly, it invites abundance into our lives. The kind of abundance that comes from being aligned with your highest truth, your greatest purpose. And in that way, that kind of abundance, is it selfish abundance? Nope. That's the kind of abundance that benefits the collective, that benefits every living thing. This mudra cultivates the abundance that benefits the collective, the self and other. So we're going to sit for 5 minutes. I've got my timer, my handy dandy timer. As we sit with our mudra, you can just rest it in your lap, palms facing up. If you feel called to hold it any other way, feel free to do so. You can stay seated upright. You can lay down in your chair. You can even lay back in your chair. However, I ask that you just don't slouch because we're working with the energy, right? Energy channels. So we want to keep them open and flowing. Go ahead and close your eyes if you haven't already. Remember that we hold our mudras with intention, not tension. So make sure that these connections are intentional without creating too much tension. If we were to squeeze our mudra, it'd be very hard to hold it for any length of time. So we want to bring intention to the mudra. Let go of any tension. Find an anchor for these 5 minutes. You can focus on the mudra itself. You can listen to the breath. You can return your awareness to any of those points that we just went over, the tip of the nose, belly button, the heart, the top of the head, anywhere you would like. Whatever works to help keep your attention in the present moment. And anytime it wanders off, we meet it with curiosity and willingness and bring it back to center. I encourage you to allow yourself to really sink into the experience of the energy movement that happens with these mudras. This is why we close our eyes, so we can bring our senses inward and just allow whatever experience comes up as long as it feels safe. If it doesn't feel safe, feel free to drop the mudra and just return to the breath. I encourage curiosity in this space. Stay with the mudra, stay with the breath. Stay with your anchor. Nothing more, nothing less. It doesn't matter how many times you have to bring the attention back to the present moment. Go ahead and bring some intention back to your posture. Sometimes we can lose our posture when our eyes are closed. So inhale to lift the heart and elongate the spine through the light by lifting to the top of the head. Exhale, gently tuck the chin. Melt the shoulder blades down the back and stay with the mudra. If you're not already doing so, I encourage you to offer a smile to your body, to your mudra, to this practice, to your breath. A gentle smile of gratitude for the opportunity to meet it here and now. You can stay with this mudra, with this practice, as long as you would like. When you're ready to close your practice, I encourage you to bring your hands together into prayer, or just simply lay one over the other over your heart in gratitude for the space, in gratitude for the tools, in gratitude for the prana, that life force that flows through everything in the universe, in gratitude for this meat bag that's an awesome conduit for that energy. And offer yourself some gratitude for taking the time for self-care today. Fuck yes, you made it to class. I'm so proud of you. Thank you for joining me in this CAYA space where we can learn and grow and thrive together. When you're ready to close your practice, when you're ready to come out of practice, I invite you to rub your palms together and place them over your eyes, fluttering your eyes open. When you're ready to come out of class. Woo. Beep, 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 beep. Hi, guys. So, what did we get? Jessica, I'm glad you made it too. Did we get a restriction again? Thank you, YouTube, for hanging out and staying present this whole time. Let me get a pillow so I can sit on the floor. I like your username, friend. D be doing it. Nice. Definitely needed. You know, so I've been talking a little bit about some changes that are going to happen in December because I'm going to take some time off so I can work on creating this workbook for us next year. But I am going to continue doing tiny yoga because I am so grateful for it, and you guys keep me accountable too. Without this class, I wouldn't get that in. I mean, I have my other practices I do, right? But this is different. This is something that I really enjoy, and I really enjoy sharing with you guys. So tiny yoga is going to stay, and it's going to stay on Fridays at 10 a.m. Pacific time. Hey, Brian, how are you? You are very welcome. And I will always go live on TikTok and YouTube, barring any technical issues. Occasionally, I do try to go live on some other platforms, but I'll be honest, I'm really fighting the algorithms, man. I'd rather just conserve my energy and use it on the platforms where we have the community and we have the, thing. Thanks, friend. Yes, Mystic Connections. What was that mudra again? It's energy. You loved it? Yes. Okay, so this is called the Kubera Mudra. Actually, see, I tried to do a thing where I had it back there, but I can't get my frickin' framing right so that you can see such things. There you go. It's called the Kubera Mudra. Sorry, YouTube. Let me turn you over this way, too, so you can join the party. So it's done like this. It's one hand or both, doesn't matter. Curl the last two fingers, the pinky and the ring, into your palm, and then bring the thumb to touch the index and the middle. So this mudra, I forget what the translation for Kubera is. Oh, God of Wealth, I think. It's the name of a God of Wealth, I believe. So what this mudra is for, it does a couple of things. Physically, it helps clarify the sinuses. It helps clear this frontal sinuses. In doing that physically, it allows us, it clarifies the inner vision, right? It helps clarify our third eye because this is all sinus stuff. When we have a bunch of junk in our sinuses, we're blocking up, both physically and energetically blocking up our inner vision. So this mudra, this is what this mudra, okay, is a mudra for abundance. If you ask somebody and go, oh, here's a mudra for abundance, you can go look up this mudra and they'll go, yeah, it's a mudra for abundance, right? And yes, it does that. It brings abundance. I can actually tell you that this mudra has been super fucking effective. Like, I'm about to make a video where I sound like one of those people who say, oh, if you listen to the sound, you'll have all the money you need. But in the last week of using it, there's been massive, like, literally checks rolling in. Literally deposits in my account that were unexpected. Yes, I understand it's that time of year, but these happened to happen in the same week that I was doing this. So I'm going to go ahead and put them together because that's freaking cool. Huge abundance that was totally unexpected for me. It's amazing. So again, I don't want to make those, like I said, I don't want to make one of those videos where I'm like, if you don't use this mudra, don't let this pass you by. But it legitimately made a difference. Second day for this. Yay! Ree, you're enjoying it too? Okay, so I wanted to talk more about this one. Okay, so how does it create abundance, though? How does it create abundance? It creates abundance by that process of clarifying our inner vision. When we have a clearer inner vision, we can see our path more clearly. Our path opens up for us, right? When we allow ourselves to see it. When we clarify our inner vision, we can hear our guides better, we can hear our intuition better, we can see what's for us and what's not for us better. So it helps us align ourselves with our truth. Remember, in this space, when I talk about your purpose or your dharma, right, or destiny, like if we ever talk about anything like that, I am not talking from a dogmatic perspective. I am talking from a perspective of you are an energetic being and you have a frequency. And that unique frequency has things that align with it, right? Just like when we're making a song and you put two notes together that don't resonate, it doesn't fucking sound good. And many of us are operating in a reality where life doesn't fucking sound good because we're using the wrong notes with our song. Thank you, friend. So when I talk about your purpose or your path or your dharma, I am talking about what you align with, what it resonates with you, irregardless of all the dogmatic stuff. So this mudra helps us find what resonates with us, truly resonates with us. Because when we stand in that authenticity and that truth, abundance naturally begins to occur around us. Not the selfish, I want a fancy new car just because I feel like it, because it's cool, and I have these desirous things inside of me. Those are attachments, right? That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the kind of abundance that allows for abundance for the collective. Through you, right? Supports you in doing the things that benefit the collective, supports the collective around you immediately, right? These abundance things has obviously supported me, my son, and other people around me too. And it allows me to keep doing these things. So anyway, this mudra brings abundance by aligning you with your true purpose. Somebody just asked me something. Elle, you'll be using it in your morning meditation. I highly encourage this one as often as possible. I haven't found any contradictions to this one. Sorry, hold on. Let me plug in the computer really quick, guys, and I'll answer those questions. Yikes. Sorry, guys, hold on. I love you, YouTube, but this is like the biggest problem with doing YouTube is I gotta use the laptop. Okay. Pooty Toots, is that why you get legitimate visuals? Yes. This is a really, like, I really feel like this is a really effective, somewhat intense mudra. I know I feel it really quickly, which is part of why we did the thing before we did the mudra. We did our, like, put your attention here, put your attention here, put your attention here, put your attention here, put your attention here. I wanted you to get your attention really far in so that when you sat with the mudra, you could feel that shit. Because it's really cool, right? Really. Oh, what did we talk about on Monday? How does this mudra actually work? Hold on, let me answer a couple questions. Jessica, has anyone else been using it consistently and noticed abundance or improvement? Anybody else getting that too? Definitely helped you understand and let go of things that were hurting you. Awesome. Badass Blind Woman really trying to focus on the collective with this mudra. Remember, everything is micro macro, right? Everything that we do within ourselves also affects the collective, and the collective also affects us. Especially in a world right now where things are really chaotic and heavy for some people. You know, there's really intense stuff happening for some people, and we are going to be feeling that. The more connected, the more interconnected and sensitive you are, the more aware of it you're going to be. Everybody is going to be feeling it. The question is, how sensitive to it are you, right? And can you differentiate between what is yours and what is the collective? That's important. Pooty Dudes, I love that. They were all visuals of ways I show love through acts of service. Yeah. Little abundances, which have been wonderful. Those are beautiful too. I feel like those are like sweet little kisses from the universe, right? When you get this like little sweet abundances, you're just like, aw, oh, thanks. Hi, Miso, how are you? Okay, so we were going to talk about how this mudra works, right? They're little treats, right? How this mudra works. Mudras work by redirecting the energy channels in the body. Yes? Yes. What elements are each finger associated with? The thumb is fire. The index finger is air. The middle finger is spirit or ether. This ring finger, is earth. And the pinky finger is water. So what are we doing? Oh, they've, let's see, detected inactivity again. Man. TikTok is really trying to take down this stuff, aren't they? Okay. How does it work? How does it work? As soon as I tell you that... didn't this happen on Monday? As soon as I was going to tell you how it worked, that they did that, I gotta watch again. I gotta go watch the replay. Okay. Fire, air, spirit, ether, earth, and water. I'm so at peace, right? Thank you, friend. My energy is just so chill, like nothing's happening in there. Okay. We put fire to air and ether, spirit as well. I like to think about this when we do this with any mudra that does this, regardless of what the other fingers are doing. This is like a cyclone. This is like a air horn through the system. Remember, sorry, I got a notification. Okay. Air, here, our air pathways, right? Our respiratory system. This is going to help clear this stuff. Spirit, ether, that third eye piece, that pulls it up here. So when we, no, don't divert, hold on. Harnessing the pirates, coming back in. Fire, energizing, spirit, ether, and air. Clarifying our system, allowing it to clear shit out. One of the things I notice when I hold this mudra is it kind of creates, like it feels like it creates a kind of cyclone that happens inside of me. That's clarifying those things. And I'm tucking in the water and earth to keep myself grounded, right? And to keep them recirculating through the system to help clarify anything out. So what happens when I'm using pressurized air to blow out all of this stuff, get all this debris unstuck, and then I have that water flowing through, continuing to flow through to clarify those channels that has now just all been shaken up, right? I often have seen in meditation all of this debris, a lot of times like glitter. You guys know those, you can make them at home, right? The little like bottle with glitter and water or whatever, and you just shake it all around. Like that, a lot of times is what I perceive when I do energy work on myself or others, is that we shake up all of this debris. There's actually a term for some of these things. There's kind of the glitter, and then there's other pieces that end up settling deeper in the system. And I've heard these termed rinanabandha or karmic debris. Everything that we do when we interact with the material world is interacting with karma, is interacting with energy exchange. And you can pick up energy off of all kinds of things, and your energy is also schlupping. What is it called? What's that thing? Shedding. There. We shed our energy, especially when it's like energy that our bodies don't want to keep. So we end up pushing that off to other people kind of things. We can accidentally accumulate all kinds of debris in our systems. Doing regular mudras or dance or any of these energy clearing practices, even just taking a bath, taking a shower kind of thing, can help clarify the system of some of these things. Kriyas in particular clarify the system of those things. Oh, badass blind woman. What they were telling us by naming this app. Yeah. There's some interesting... Yeah. What, son?
Good morning.
Good morning.
And I love you.
I love you too. What are you doing? Why are you looking at me all crazy? Why are you giving me the crazy eyes? What are you doing?
Because I love you.
Okay, I love you too. Are you like gonna fart in here or something?
No.
You just... Okay.
And
The what?
thrift store haul video.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't think I'm going to do that. Son, that is not important. Please go grab yourself some breakfast, please.
Okay.
I love you.
I love you.
We went thrifting yesterday, and I was like, maybe I should make one of those, like, thrift haul videos and show you guys all the cool shit I found. And I didn't do it. And he came in, he was like, Mom, you said you were going to make a thrift haul video. I don't need a calendar. I'll just tell him all the content that I want to make, and he'll remind me. They said good morning to you.
Okay. Tell them I say good morning.
He says good morning. This was one of the thrift store finds yesterday. Can you believe this? We could always have a little show and tell. Oh, yeah, I know, right? That's probably the only content that TikTok actually wants me to do, right? Like the fashion stuff. I think I could use what's it called? I've thought about doing those videos where it's how to wear something versus style something, right? I like my costumes. Thanks, guys. I like them too. They made me really happy. I got a couple of really fun, really make me happy things yesterday, and in fact, several of them fit. Like everything fits perfectly, and we had an amazing day yesterday. That's why I was gonna, what's it called? Make a video of it. The number of my comments hit an all-time high in 30 days. Brilliant. Thanks, TikTok. Now, can you please put my video or my live back on the FYP? If I get any clothes, I should make a catwalk video. Oh, you guys. You're like, no, but really, make the content. Yeah, I found some amazing finds. Fuck. That's not my normal content. So in December, when that schedule changes, expect that you will still see mudra videos on Sundays. Remember, I post a new mudra for each week. And while I won't be doing Monday and Saturday classes in December, I will still be doing the Friday class. If you want to practice the mudra with me in meditation, I am going to be opening up the CAYA Connect space in our Discord. I am going to try to get there on a daily basis. I'd really like to have a daily sadhana that we do together, like 8 a.m. Pacific time, 7 a.m. Pacific time, and anybody who can come in, and we can practice the mudra every day for a probably more like 10-15 minute meditation, not just 5 minutes. I'd really like to cultivate that space outside of social media, because obviously there are various issues with doing these things on social media. And it's really, especially lately here on TikTok, it seems that every time I go live, we get a lot of real big influx and then get reported for something or other. Because I'm constantly coming off of here and they're saying my live is whatever, violates guidelines and things like that. So now I want to go thrifting. You guys, when you see the shit that I got yesterday, the amazing stuff I got yesterday, you will have to go thrifting. You will need to go thrifting. You'll be like, oh my God, that's abundance, abundance. Thank you, Jessica. That's fun shit. Annette, is Discord an app? I'm so behind. It's okay. So I'm really, I want to just pause here for a second. I know we don't have a ton of people in the room here, but if you want to continue consistently getting content from me and interacting with the tools that I'm offering, you've got to be in the Discord. Who knows what's going to happen with social media? Who knows what TikTok and YouTube are going to do? They're unpredictable, right? And also ultimately not something that we can control. However, the Discord space, Discord is an app. You can go download it from the Play Store or the Apple, whatever. It's free. And you can charge for the communities, but I don't. So the community itself is free. Here's the layout. Here is the layout of the grounds, okay? This social media space is what I call our just CAYA community, is extended CAYA community. CAYA, C-A-Y-A, stands for come as you are, because authenticity is the purest expression of your divinity, and that's what we're going for in here, right? So this is our CAYA community. Thank you, friend. When you get into the Discord, I call that our CAYA courtyard, because that is a space where people are more intentionally gathering together. And as we continue to expand this community, there will be more and more happening in the Discord. Right now, I'm kind of weighing the balance between the activity that happens on social media and cultivating our community space, the courtyard space in Discord.
There is an inner layer to that courtyard, and that is what I call our sangha or our temple, because that is for private coaching, group coaching, and deeper work, and that's a membership level thing. I have membership options on patreon.com/move with change if you choose. They are not required unless you want to get into coaching. I charge for my personal time. Information in this space is free because honestly, it's your fucking right to have this information. And yeah, I spent 20 plus years in the field of human development and wellness, studying, getting certifications, going to school. Yeah, and I spent a bunch of fucking money doing it too, researching these things and finding these things, but I did them so they could heal me. I did them so that I could figure out how to human instead of being a broken people. Now that I benefit from these and how much I've benefited from these, it seems, for me personally, really inappropriate for me to charge you for those things. Because the reality is if we were out in public or sitting in a park somewhere or at a restaurant and I overheard you say something, I'm that guy who would turn around and be like, hey, I have a mudra for that. Hey, I teach whatever, or I'm a nutritionist and I can share this thing. I would happily give you the information for free in person. So it's disingenuous for me to charge for things that I would just tell you anyway. So the Discord space is the space where I get to freely be that person who shares all of this really cool stuff that I've discovered through my experience, through my learning, through my education, and through my healing journey, right? A lifetime of trial and error, 20 plus years in the field, and more than 12 years in like actual study. More than 12, more like 15 years or something like that. Badass Blind Woman, exactly. Why don't we want to help others to be the best that they can be? Because we have not accepted, because it's it always comes back to self, right? Because when I wasn't doing this, let's say, I was still in a very imbalanced place. I didn't really understand my truth, and I didn't value myself in a way that developed trust. Or a way that developed any kind of security or self-esteem. I didn't value myself. I loved myself, yes, but that's ego. That's a love of ego. I didn't value myself as... I didn't value myself. So I spent a lot of my time doing the same push and pull that almost all of us do in codependent relationships. In our private and personal and public interactions, we are almost always engaging in these energetic, toxic, back and forth push and pull. It's just the way we've been taught, I guess, right? What's that? I'm over here type, get the Discord link pinned. So, I'm sorry, I went down a different rabbit hole. The Discord link, the free Discord link is on my Patreon page. Patreon.com/move with change. I am move with change everywhere. I've created a profile on every fucking platform. So go follow me in all the places. I'm the only move with change everywhere. But if you want to get memberships, or you want to get the free link for Discord, or you want to get there's a shop over there, there's other things over there, go check out the Patreon page. Don't feel obligated for anything, but it is there if you'd like it. And the free link to get into the Discord is on the Patreon page. That's where you get it. Or if you're like, I can't find it, or something else happens or whatever, you can also just send me a message and I will send you the link directly. And then I do drop other resources and things. I drop more into the Discord than I do onto Patreon. Awesome. D, most people gatekeep knowledge due to lack of love and trust. Love is one of the highest modes. Yes, and I gatekept because I felt insecure. That's where I was headed. I felt very insecure. In fact, a lot of the education that I did was a way of I felt like nobody would take me seriously. Nobody would value what I had to offer unless I had excessive certifications. Unless I had done excessive, I was also a voracious learner, right? I just like to really dive deep, but I didn't trust myself. I always felt like an imposter. I just felt like an imposter But the reality was, it's not because of the knowledge I had or the information or the experience. That wasn't the imposter piece. The imposter piece was as simple as I didn't value myself. And so I never felt like there was a good exchange. I never felt like I was seen. I never felt like I was valued. Because I didn't value me. How am I going to see that and experience that from other people if I can't even experience it within myself? Annette, I want a teacher with honesty, education, and personal experience, right? So, L, you say you're trying to get over that feeling even with all your life experience and no actual certification. So here's something I want to share with you. I had a great conversation with somebody recently about certification in particular. And the way that, for example, my family, my mother's side of the family, has a lineage of energy work. I adopted that when I was young. My mother shared it with me. There's no certification for what my family passes down. But if I go to do that practice, if I go to work on others in that way, depending on the state, I am not allowed to do so because I don't have a certification, right? Massage therapy or whatnot. You need different kinds of certifications. Now, there's nothing wrong with the idea of wanting to standardize things so that we have goals we want to meet. We know that every massage therapist is going to have this baseline and understanding of these things. I get that. But kind of the side effect of that means that people who are naturally inclined or have natural ability or natural knowledge for certain things don't get to share that and don't get to practice and aren't valued. Whereas someone who has no natural inclination can go get the certification and go do the work. Have you ever had a massage from somebody who, like, you're like, you know what, maybe this is totally the wrong profession for you, but they went ahead and got the certification and they can go give massages. But the person who naturally feels inclined to do it and naturally understands the body and can feel into the body, whether it be physical or energetic, isn't valued. So just remember that when that part of you is like, you need the certification, nobody's going to take you fucking seriously. Remember that the process, the system of certification, of standardization, has taken the right for us to practice when we truly are called to that practice. L will be getting the certificates, but I doubt that people will believe me. The question I always ask when I'm fearful of somebody else doing that to me, I have to ask myself, where am I doing that to me? Do I believe me? What am I not believing? What does not feel true for me, within me? Mystic, there has to be a workaround for conforming to certifications and labels. So yes, in some ways there are. Actually, it's part of why. You guys know that when I speak about this often. I wanted to be a nun. When I was little, I thought Catholicism was my path and I was going to go into that. And turns out, no. I later became an interdimensional? Yeah, an interfaith minister. Multi-denominational, interdenominational, right? Non-denominational. And I've been doing that for 10 years. And part of getting the actual certification for that is so that I can lay hands. As a reverend, I can lay hands. And that's what I'm doing with energy work. But I don't need the massage therapy certification. Now, I don't recommend going and getting, becoming a reverend if you're not actually inclined to spiritual work. But look into it. And depending on the state you're in, some states do have caveats for things like energy work and whatnot. But there's also like cranial sacral therapy. If you go get certified in cranial sacral therapy, you can put your hands on people too, right? You don't have to go through the several years of massage. There are workarounds. Miso, you thought you were going to be a nun too? I don't think I've ever really met anybody who was like, me too. D, yes, we have to begin with an expectation of winning for self versus being accepted by others. I'm working. Remember that that's the narrative that we're given, like from the get-go. The narrative that we're given is that we do it to meet expectations of others. This is one of the biggest reasons as a parenting consultant, right, that I encourage parents to step away from the reward and punishment systems, because what you do is you teach the child that they do a thing or don't do a thing because of an outside reward or punishment. We want to encourage an intrinsic value, but we don't have the culture doesn't do that. I mean, yes, some parents may be, but in general, the arc of the culture is not to encourage intrinsic value. It's to teach you to submit to someone else's order and someone else's expectation of what should be right or wrong. It teaches you to deny your basic needs and your basic workings of your body so that you can meet the expectations of the system. And I'm not going to get into who, where, what, why. We can just look at it as like, this is how the system is right now. Pointing fingers and blaming people is actually not going to help anybody. What we need to do is just unplug ourselves from that process and do exactly what you're talking about doing. Finding the intrinsic value within, finding the intrinsic truth within, and following that like a horse and a carrot. Badass Blind Woman state by state basis. Certifications for like massage and energy work and things like that are state by state. I know California is one that has an exception for energy work for hands-on, but I don't know a lot of other ones that do. D, working on removing imposter spirit of pleasing others. I was a co-enabler. Yes. Okay. Can we talk about codependency for a second in terms of energy? Let's talk about our energy bodies and how we end up in that situation. Catch up here. Okay. So I'm going to pin you, D. Encapsulate it, because this is like one of my favorite little things to go down, and so I end up getting like really detailed. So I'm going to encapsulate it nice and easy here, okay? When we're born into a culture that teaches us to deny our inner stuff and focus on the outer, whether it be when to eat, when to sleep, how much to eat, how much to sleep, what behaviors are good or bad, and how we get our needs met. Remember that your physical body is concerned with safety, survival. It's concerned with surviving. And the body is going to do everything it can to get your needs met. When you are an infant, your body is leading. The brain is not fully online and does not come fully online, prefrontal cortex and all, until you're in your early 20s. Some studies say that neurodivergence even postpones that a little further. So, this is the parameter. Okay? We're denied our truth, inner truth, and we're turned outward and said we must pay attention to the parameters that are given to us and the rules and the structure that is given to us. When we do that, it's going to immediately send the body into imbalance, because our systems are not intended to fit inside of a box outside of us. They are intended to resonate our truth. Like, I like to call it an instrument. I have a unique song. You have a unique song. Every one of us has a unique song, like as unique as your fingerprints and the shape of your iris. Okay? Your system is intended to vibrate, resonate that song. But we are consistently, like methodically, led away from that. So what the body does is to begin developing defenses to keep the authentic self safe, to keep that spark of spirit safe. It's not even online yet. Your brain's in the theta brainwaves until you're 8 years old. That's REM sleep time. Theta brainwaves is REM sleep time. The brain does not consistently leave and come out of that dream time until after the age of 8, like 8 and beyond. You are unconscious. Your brain is not interacting. It's your body. So let's pause and say, thank you, my body, for keeping me alive. But what does it look like? What does my body have to do to keep me alive? It has to repurpose my energy. So the expectation of my growth, right, is that each of my energy centers is going to be able to express itself in a balanced way. That's the ideal as a human here, right? I'm expect to come in, probably evolutionary wise, like for the entire length of the time that we've ever existed, right? My impetus is to survive and then to thrive. I'm not meant to be kept in a box and kept in pain and kept in suffering. We're not meant to be that way. That's why it's hard to do that. So how did that develop? During the first 20 some years, each chakra develops at a different stage. These stages align with social emotional development, cognitive development, physical development. When you study child development, you can see the exact stages that all line up and the chakras align with them. So from in utero to about 6 months, our root chakra is developing. From about 6 months to 18 months, 2 years-ish, our sacral chakra is developing. So root chakra is at the base of your seat. If you're sitting down, you're sitting on it, your root chakra. Your sacral chakra is between your pubic bone and below your belly button. That's your little bread basket here, your little muffin top pouch, right? Okay. Then the solar plexus, which is located between the belly button and the sternum. This develops between the ages of like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We get further up and these extend. These take a little bit more time. So this is like 6 months. This is like a year. This is like 2, 3, something like that, right? And they extend, so they're not exact, but they learn to settle during those stages. They learn their habits during those stages. So let's use an example. I am 4 months old and something very scary happens to my physical body. Maybe I'm in a car accident. Maybe somebody hurts me. Who knows? Whatever happens, let's not point fingers. At 4 months old, something happened that told my body it's not safe to be in the physical self. It's not safe. Because that's all the body is asking at those first 6 months. What can the infant do? Just scream and cry. Is it safe to be in my body? Am I gonna just be okay by laying here in my body? If an infant is not okay and is put in painful or scary or whatever situations, then the energy is gonna move up from the root and it's gonna pull into the sacral. Now the sacral is the area where our sense of nourishment. So the root chakra is fear versus security. Am I safe or not? Right? That's it. That's all this root is working about. Do I have a right to exist? The sacral says, now that I exist, can I get my needs met? Will the universe take care of me just because I exist? And as an infant, and in these early years, obviously this is really important because the infant can't take care of themselves. So the development of the sacral chakra is about, when I cry, do my caregivers respond? When I am hungry, am I fed? When I am uncomfortable, am I comforted? Very, very, very simple things. Think about the ways that our culture teaches us to teach our children, to take care of our children during that age. This is under the age of 2. So what inevitably happens is that the energy pulls up again. Now remember, what do we call the 2s in this country? Right? The terrible 2s. Why? Because our children suddenly become emboldened, right? They can walk, they can talk, they can scream, they can take, they can demand, they can refuse. That's the solar plexus. So let's say there was trauma in my first 6 months that pulled my energy up into my sacral. But no matter how much I cried, my caregivers still made me sleep it out. Still made me only eat on the schedule. still refuse to give me comfort, and maybe even were annoyed with it, what happens? I pull it up further. So now, how much energy do I have here? That's my root and my sacral coming up to push through my solar, going, I can fucking get my needs met. What do we do with children like that? We put them in a corner. Again, I can't safely express that energy. And depending on our unique frequency, the way that we interact with that energy as it moves up and down is going to be unique. So 2 children in the exact same household, their energy can move. One can feel totally safe in their body and one totally not. So as this develops, this continues to go on through my early development and until my brain is fully online, my energy is all settled in. I'm like, cool. Now I get the keys to my ship. My prefrontal cortex comes on, development is done, and I am supposedly in the driver's seat. But what do most of us find? Ego is in the driver's seat. Triggers are in the driver's seat. Emotions are in the driver's seat, right? And we go, wait a minute. I'm not in control. Maybe we're lucky and realize it. Maybe we just go, this is how it is. And we allow our emotions and our ego and stuff to run our fucking lives. This is how we end up in codependent relationships. Because when my imbalance fits your imbalance, then we seem to puzzle just right together, don't we? You see, when I was growing up as a young girl in the 80s in the United States, I learned that I was absolutely not safe in my physical body. Anybody could do anything they wanted to my physical body, and there was nothing I could fucking do about it. Nope. Pull the energy up. Are my needs going to get met just because I cry? Fuck no. Children are meant to be seen and not heard. Don't you dare throw a tantrum. Doop, doop. Now, when I am old enough to start expressing compassion and empathy and doing things for others, now I'm a 5-year-old who excessively seeks to take care of the other kids and even the parents. And I find my value in these acts that I do for others. Now the world responds and says, now you are good. Now you are worthy. Now you get rewarded. Well done. You figured out how to fit inside of a very narrow set of expectations. Good job. You puzzled yourself in. Round peg, square hole. But you did it. As long as this works, which it'll get harder and harder the more you do it, right? As long as we stay out of balance, our systems will continuously ask to be put back in balance. Dee, you're very welcome. This is why this is a really important thing. This is actually something that I want to create a TED Talk on. Maybe I'll actually have a platform for it there, right? Versus TikTok trying to hide it. Most people that I understand, I see, I work with, I interact with, especially in coaching and more, people I've known, and including myself. We are operating with these energetic push and pulls. So I learned that my heart being huge and open is the way that as a woman in the West, I get my needs met and I am valued. What I happened to find a lot of was partners who didn't have a big expressive heart, but instead had a big expressive solar plexus. Why did this feel good to me? For me to have this big open heart and them to have this big open solar. Well, they look so confident And they have such great boundaries and they know how to say no. And I don't. I struggle with that. So I might feel safe in their imbalance. Of course, for those of you who are this and have dated this, you might find that it starts to hurt. Wait, ow. Stop. Stop poking me. Stop pushing me. Can you be compassionate without realizing that this is somebody who has one of these? And when they have one of these, that's why they sought you, is because you fill their space. You complete me. You're my other half. In fact, maybe even you're my better half, right? Because I'm led by the need to be aggressive to get my needs met, and I can demand it, and I can be a push and pull to get that shit, but I don't know how to be soft and sensitive, so. But again, here's the truth. Here's the reality of it. Your system is supporting your healing. Your system wants to get back into balance. Yet, what's the narrative? What do we almost always say? What do you hear all the time, even in your own head and other people's heads? My body is out to get me. My body is attacking me. My ego is all fucked up. I gotta kill my ego. Oh, don't get me for hate speech. We're talking about the ego, TikTok. I've got to amputate. I've got to make it walk the plank. My ego is terrible. It's awful. The universe doesn't like me. God is just out to get me. I am just... It's completely the opposite. Remember what we were talking about in the very beginning? When we were talking about how young you were and how your brain was not even online and the only thing that was there was your body and your ego. When your authentic self could not feel safe, when your energy could not balance itself out, egos manifested. And those ego characters are your guards. That's your fucking crew. Those are your teammates, and they have had your back since day 1 or 5 or whatever it was when they decided to develop. Your ego is not out to get you. It has been protecting something very vulnerable and important. Thank you. Thank you. It is just misdirected energy. Desecration conflict. So many conversations about this today. Do we balance this inside and outside, or do we stay inward? What do you mean? I'm not sure I understand quite what you mean. So, I'd like you to start. If you want to explore these concepts, if you want to dive into this rabbit hole, start by recognizing that every moment of tension, every trigger in your body, every ego manifestation, every emotion that rolls through you is here to help. It's here to help. Okay, let's start there. Once we recognize that everything in our system is on our side, we understand that all of these moments of tension, of fear, of anger, of resentment, of anxiety, of whatever it is that we're going through, any moments of tension, even the pain, tension in our bodies. What are these? It's your check engine light. It's your body, it's your ego saying, hey, we're still out of balance here, and I don't like to be out of balance. Can you help, please? But remember, this ego has been standing here out of balance for a long time. Maybe even since you were 2 or younger. That energy, that's a serious habit. You've been doing that all of your life. It is well woven into who you are. So start by honoring it, having gratitude for it, being curious about it, willing to see why it's there, willing to hear what it has to say. Only after you do those things can you invite it to set down its arms. Remember, if you've got a protector, if there's a defender here who is protecting you, something vulnerable, and you go in there with hammer and nails and swinging fists and try to demand that ego goes away, it is not going to go anywhere. It's been defending you from you your whole fucking life. When we work within ourselves, we don't use force. We cultivate power. And we cultivate that inner power by befriending these different parts of ourselves, by honoring and valuing every little thing that happens in my system, because ultimately it's here to inform me and it's here to bring me back to center. In Ayurveda, we talk about balance in this way. When we are balanced, it's very easy to tip and come back to balance. Tip and come back to balance, right? That's not a big deal, right? We can do that. Once we find balance, it's not hard. When we're way out of balance, it's a lot harder to get ourselves back to balance. In fact, there's even a tipping point. If I'm balanced, this is great. But let's say, I don't know, let's say I get hooked on sugar all of a sudden and I am eating sugar and sugar and sugar and sugar and sugar and sugar and holy shit, there's a point at which I suddenly realize I am face down on the ground and it's really hard to pull myself back up. I can't just stop eating sugar now. Now it's become a thing and my body even craves it, needs it, wants it. Dang. But does that mean sugar is good for me? No. It just means I have been so far out of balance that when the scales are tipped, your measurement's always going to be off, right? There is always tension. There is always discomfort when we are off balance because our systems are trying to come back upright. So the more tension and frustration and pain you're experiencing in life, the more likely tilted you are. And a lot of us in the West have learned to run through life screaming at full fucking tilt into the wind and just hope we'll survive. How many of you go running through your day like this and then crash at the end of the day and then get up again to run through your day like this and get up and crash at the end and go, I feel like I can barely breathe. I feel like I can barely get up. I feel like I can barely fucking move through my day. I feel like the day just fucking disappears and I was just frustrated and in pain the whole fucking day. Because you're not a human doing. You are a human being who has been taught that your only value is in what you do, what you produce, and how other people see you. Desecration conflict. The outside world requires the mask to gain access to resources, but I would prefer to be a tree. I say be a tree. I say stop putting the mask back on. The more often we put the mask back on and continue to try to engage in the imbalances of the world, the more we perpetuate them. Be a tree when you're in the grocery store, when you're on the highway. Be a tree. Bend, sway. Roots like an oak, branches like a willow. Let every storm just blow right past you, just like a tree. When we are off balance, when our energy is out of balance, our scales are tipped, right? So we really struggle sometimes to know what we actually need, what's actually for us, what's actually good and what's not. And to be honest, if we've been out of balance and with tipped scales for so fucking long, it's really hard to, let's say, I want abundance in my life, right? I want to know what abundance looks like. I want to know what security looks like. I want to know what trust looks like. I want to know what trust looks like. That would be really nice to feel a deep sense of trust for myself and for the world. Like, holy shit. How do I find that trust if I've never experienced that trust? How do I find something if I don't know what it looks like, tastes like, smells like, how what size it is, or where the fuck it is? Not by planning my journey ahead. Not by mapping it out. I don't even know the fucking steps.
Hey, Mama.
So I start here and now. Yes.
This is really important to me, although it is not an emergency.
Okay, what, honey?
Since I've worked hard all week, could I take today off?
Today I need you to do some homework. Okay? And we can talk about it after class. We got to go into town too, remember?
What?
To take Star to the vet. I got to find him.
Well, I'm gonna check the cat door.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Yes, tree connect to each other. Our lungs mirror the tree of life. There are roots the same as branches. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, friend. Yes, I know. He already got out. Please. So, thank you. Love you. Okay. So how do I find that thing if I don't know what it looks like, tastes like, smells like, all that stuff? I start right here. I start right here in each moment. And I ask myself, is this for me or is it not for me? Does it resonate with me or not? Does it feel like trust or not? And I may be wrong. I may get it wrong. Thank you, friend. But as I ask here and now, is it for me or is it not? Or for me or not? I start to improve my sense of direction. Because if I am constantly looking like miles ahead, I have no sense of direction here and now. I'm not watching my feet. I'm tripping over shit. I'm like, if you put your focus too far ahead, you're going to miss the steps here. And tomorrow is undetermined, right? Thank you so much, Dee. We don't know what the future holds. It's not even guaranteed to us. So why do we spend so much time worrying about it and toiling over it and trying to create things in it? Create them here. And the same goes for the past. The past is stored in your brain the exact same as dreams, movies, other people's experiences. It all gets stored in the memory bank pretty much as the same shit. So for all intents and purposes, it's an imaginary thing. Oh no, but I have to go back into my childhood and I have to find the traumas and I have to figure out who did it and I have to know all the details and I gotta sort it out and I gotta talk it out. Maybe, sure, if that's beneficial to you, go ahead. Because I went down that road and I talked it out for a long fucking time and it was beneficial. However, what I have come to understand is that every part that you need of your past lives within you. Those egos, those triggers, those emotions, that's the past self, alive and well within you. That's the past event still replaying in your system. You don't have to go anywhere. I'm grateful for you guys for sharing this space with me. Thank you. You too, YouTube. When we get here, this is really, really powerful. What have I just done? I've taken all the fight out of the relationship between me and my ego. I've taken all the worry about the future and all the toiling over the past. I've taken all those arms of energy reaching in all these other places and I brought them all back into here. Your system is a finite system. Everything in this material world is a finite thing. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. It has a rise and a fall, an ebb and a flow, an expansion and a contraction, right? Everything in this universe is like that. So the energy in my finite system, when it is dispersed to all of these places that it's really not intended to be, right? When the energy from my solar plexus actually is living heavy over here in my liver and makes me angry really often because that's the only way I feel like I can defend myself, that is mispurposed anger. That is mispurposed energy. Misaligned, let's say. Misaligned energy that is making me tired, is pulling me off balance because this fucking goes over here. When I bring myself into balance, just like if you're balancing on one foot, when I bring myself into balance, that tension falls away. Try it. Stand up. Try to balance on one foot. And tell me, when you're out of balance, what's your body doing? Every little muscle in your body's like, trying to find balance. When you finally find balance, what happens? Everything goes. So notice those moments of sink into them. Spend more time with them. Offer gratitude for them. Smile at them. Give them your attention, because your attention is a really powerful force. And it's a finite force. Yes, sir?
Do we have any bagels?
I don't know. Did we eat all the bagels? If they're not in the
think
fridge, then...
so.
Okay. Well, we'll pick up some more.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm still trying to decide what I'm gonna eat alone.
Okay.
Hard to. Oh, and?
Feed me whole. Okay.
The white cat really wants to get in.
I know he does.
So
it's
much
because
he
it's because
slept
he's
on
got
that
his
pillow.
cojones still, and he wants Mama Cat.
So much he slept on the pillow out there.
I know. He was out there all night long. I know. I don't know what we're gonna do about it.
It's crazy.
I don't know. The cat distribution system has just brought another cat to my lap. Red Mama Yeti, then there's going back and reparenting yourself and letting your inner child know it's safe. When we are going through this process of meeting ourselves and meeting these different parts of ourselves, that's what we're doing. Me making friends with my ego is me reparenting that young energy. That's where my inner child lives, in my ego. You know that feeling where you're gonna pull your fucking hair out, or you feel absolutely nuts, or you feel like there's no control, or the energy is just way too big? That's little you. That's 12-year-old you. That's 5-year-old you. That's 2-year-old you. Still waiting to be brought back into the fold, to allow to be back and to use their energy as it was truly intended to use it. That 2-year-old, that 5-year-old, that expression of joy, that the volume that you had, the excitement, the curiosity, the silliness that you tucked away and said no more, and pulled the energy out of your sacral and up into your solar or into your heart and said you need to stop being silly and take care of everybody else's needs. That little part of you needs you to just let it be silly. Hi. Or whatever it is that part of you needs. Right? Rebecca, cat distribution just gave you a cat and kitten too. Doggo. D, learning that the sacral chakra is out of sync near liver causes anger, is life-changing. The mudra is wealthy for sure. Yes. Abundance. True abundance is balance, is authenticity, is the ability to express our energy as it's truly meant to be expressed, right? That's true abundance. Just like true power, right? True strength is not in who you can push around, but in who you can care for and how vulnerable you can be. True power is the ability to be vulnerable, right? True power is to be authentically you and be okay and value that authentic you. Thank you, friend. Well, just lay down. Yeah, just chill for a second. Here, you can... No, come here. Thank you guys for the gifts. You guys are so sweet. So we can talk about other things like, right? Oh gosh. Okay, so let me say this side note here. For those of you who are new in here, I've been talking about this a lot lately, but next year we're going to do a really fucking cool thing next year. Thank you, friend. Next year, we are going to use the entire year to go month by month through every layer of the self. What you just received when you were sitting in here and we were talking about the energy and the chakras and the development of them is going to be spread out in detail for the entirety of next year. We're going to start in January with the aura, with the energy body as a whole, and we're going to talk about mind mapping and the way that our early experiences create a map for how we interact with our lives. Thank you, friend. And then during that month of January, I'm going to offer you every single tool in my toolbox to balance, adjust, diagnose, work with, treat, interact with, heal the aura, and to adjust the mind map, right? February, we're going to go into the body, into the koshas and the elements. So we're going to learn where energy is stored, like anger in the liver, sadness in the lungs, and stuff like that. Sir, sit. No? Do you need to go outside? Or you just want hugs? Okay, we can have hugs. Oh. Okay. February, we're going to go into the body, into the elements, into the channels, and how the channels of energy work. March, because March we're going to go into the earth chakras, the feet chakras, the knee chakras, the lower chakras. April, with Aries, we're going to start working, we're going to move into the root chakra. From the root chakra, we're going to go into the sacral, and we're going to go all the way up to the crown. And I think December, that still leaves one more month. And I don't remember what awesome, cool thing I have, but I do have an awesome, cool thing for December. Go ahead. Go see what it was. Go get your boy. Go get your boy. So, the little thing we talked about here, not little thing, that concept, we're going to expand throughout next year. I am taking December off, and I'm just going to do tiny yoga classes on Fridays, and then random shenanigan lives. And I will be in the Discord space doing some kind of daily meditation with the mudras. I'll still be posting content, don't worry, you'll still get mudras. But I'm going to take some time off so that I can work on creating a workbook. I'm still figuring out exactly how to do this because I want to make it accessible and I want to make it effective. And what I really want is to create a workbook where every single day you have a page where you can do a daily check-in on your energy body, where you can color your aura, where you can, note your energy and like how many spoons you feel like you have. Does it feel like your heart is tight or maybe your belly is tight, right? Note the physical symptoms along with the energetic and the emotional ones. I want you to have a book where you can track these things and also put in the tools that you learn in these classes that I'll be doing next year, right? And all of the information will be free. Do I offer private coaching? Yes. Only to a few. I don't have a lot of time to do a ton of them, but I do offer private coaching, and that's really what I charge for. I charge for that, and I charge for things that I make over on the Patreon page. I have some workshops and things in the shop, as well as workbooks. This workbook will be for sale, and part of me does want to create something that you guys can download and have and like a whole thing, but I'm also feeling like I might even make it as simple as a digital download that has, 4 pages or something like that. And those 4 pages are just what you use every single day. We'll see. Like I said, it'll be done. And hopefully it will be on the Patreon page by Christmas. That is the goal. I like setting goals for myself. They stress me out, but that's what we're going to do because I want you guys to have this for next year. And if it's just a little digital download with some pages, it might just be like $5. Like, I don't need to charge you guys nickel and dime you for every fucking little thing, but I'm going to create a thing and put it on there as a way to support the fact that I'm doing free classes. That said, there's always a tip jar here on TikTok as well as on Patreon. If you want to join me for private coaching or just want to support the work that I do, there are memberships for that on patreon.com/movewithchange. So, like I said, the likelihood is I might actually just create a nice little digital download so that you guys can just use that stuff and download it. Yeah. But then I worry about folks who don't have printers where I'm like, anyway. If you have an opinion on it, let me know in the Discord. Let me know if you're like, actually be great if you just did like $5 for like, a couple of pages that I could download and use, great. If I have a bunch of people saying, no, I can't do it printing. You've got to give me something I can buy and get shipped to me. That might be a little different. Thank you, Badass Blind Woman. I'm grateful for you guys. Listen, like I said, this is me. to sit here and tell you guys all of this awesome, cool stuff. Ever since I was this big, it was, hey, do you guys want to hear the cool thing that I discovered? Do you want to hear the cool thing? So it's not effective. It doesn't do its thing if I don't get to have someone, to talk to about it. Like, if it wasn't for you guys, I might be harassing people in the grocery store more often. Who knows? There's a story, my name is Deborah, right? I'm Reverend Deborah. Hi. My name is a biblical name, right? And the story of Deborah in the Bible is she is in the 5th book of Judges. She is a judge, and she's the only female judge written into the Bible. They do the typical, like, husband of so-and-so, and he's never mentioned again. And she does some pretty amazing fucking things. But like I said, I was raised Catholic, so I read about her very early. And one of the things that I really resonated with, I felt like I saw myself in this story because she sat underneath this tree and people came to her for advice, for a judgment, for a support, for, she did this. And when I read that, I was like, yeah, if I could just like tell, help people with all their things, sure, yeah. I did it in a million different ways growing up. In high school, I had a Debbie column, whatever, Ask Debbie column. I went into taking care of families and became a doula and became a child support specialist. And I don't know, she was also, yes, she was a prophet, a warrior, and a leader, so much more than just a judge. Yes, absolutely. Powerful. And when Barack Obama got elected, there was actually, so just a side note, the name of the general, there's a battle going on, the name of the general in the book where where he goes and hides, and she's got this song she sings that rallies the troops and gets them out there. His name is Barack. And when I read that, when he got elected, I was like, "Ma, that's weird. Should I be worried? Is there a thing?" But there wasn't, so we're good. And here we are. D, that's right. Are you a Deborah as well, or a Deborah? Yeah. Powerful story, powerful message. And the reality is I could sit underneath a tree and it wouldn't be anything. I'd just be sitting there unless you guys showed up. So thank you guys for showing up. Thank you guys for hanging out under the tree with me. But close. Nice. Okay. So the workbook, I'm taking the month off of December. See, I say I'm taking it off, but I'm not really taking it off. I'm going to create this workbook next month. Come into the Discord and let me know if you have an opinion about something that you can purchase or like get mailed to you, which would just take more time in the mail to get it to you, or if you just want a digital download that you can print out. And that can be, because obviously if it's just a digital download that you can print out, it'd be a lot cheaper than creating an actual book that you have to purchase. However, if it's a digital download, you can always get a bunch of them bound up into a book too. So come into the Discord. It's free to join the Discord. The link is on patreon.com/movewithchange. Come join us. Stay connected throughout December. January, I don't know what our schedule is going to look like, but there will always be a schedule pinned at the top of my content here on TikTok and over there on YouTube. Remember, replays for my classes are on YouTube. I can't keep them here on TikTok. The whole 2, 3, 4 hour sessions are always on YouTube. If you don't see one, it means YouTube didn't work properly, and I need to upload it. So let me know. Part of linking that story is to highlight how important this work is to me. And talk about Dharma and destiny and purpose and things like that. This is really important because I wanted to heal the world. I wanted to save the world. I want to take all the suffering away. I want to make world peace. Of course. Moment of remembering how many times I prayed to Christ and asked him how he carries the pain of the world in his heart. So, in my imbalance, when I was still healing and learning and growing, which I still am, but earlier on in that, I thought that I could somehow save the world. Turns out not so much. There's only so much that I can really affect. And by doing this inner work, I have done some of the most profound, life-changing work ever. So what I realized, just in these last couple of years, is that I don't need some wide sweeping gesture. I don't need to save the world. I don't need to do anything huge. The most powerful thing that I can do is to share what I did to change my world, to meet myself where I'm at, to value and love and trust myself in a very real, visceral way, in a way that has changed my experience of life itself, that has changed my experience of time and space, that has changed my experience of me, changed my relationship with myself, with others, with God. So next year is our movement. Our movement of creating movement within ourselves, finding the movement necessary to get ourselves unstuck, to wiggle ourselves out of the ignorance of the boxes that we have been in, out of the struggle and frustration, because you are your own guru. I could make a book about everything that worked for me, and it would work for some people who are like me enough. But if I spend all next year dumping my toolbox for every tool, even the ones that work for me, or even the ones that don't work for me, then hopefully you will find all the tools that work for you. And if you keep a journal, it doesn't even have to be the one I make. If you keep a journal and spend the entire year tracking your energy, don't do it on your phone, don't do it on your apps. Keep it in a handwritten place that's yours, only yours. Discover your ego in a way that's totally new and facilitates a trusting relationship instead of constant battle. What did my mama say? If you create an enemy of yourself, that is a battle you will fight every day. And that becomes the war that you wage your whole life long. And she looked at me and goes, do you want to live like that? No. Then you must befriend yourself. Every part of yourself. That's radical. That's revolutionary. To drop all of the misconceptions, all of the manipulations of the world outside that tells you you're small, you're stupid, you're you don't fit, you don't look great, nobody you love, whatever the fucking stories are that tell you that there's really only one way to live, that only certain people are special and others are terrible. Stop. Engage if you want. Do it if you want. But if you would like to cultivate true power, if you would like to find real autonomy, if you would like to pull your head out of the ass of this fucking culture who would rather just pull you along regardless of whether or not it hurts you so that it can benefit, then I invite you to come join me next year. And I invite you to take next year seriously, because this is about you. The most important person in your life, the person who deserves your love, your trust, and your compassion more than anyone else. And you are the only person who can really give that to you. I know it sounds trite because I know you all have heard it before. I heard it before and it was annoying because I was like, whatever. No, I need it from other people. How am I supposed to heal my relationship, my heart, if I don't get it from other people? Because I am all the people too. Yes.
This is really exciting, and it will be the last thing for a while.
Yes.
I found something that replaced that's even better and replaces bagel and cream cheese.
Awesome. What is it?
The sourdough bread that we have
Oh, yeah.
and that cream cheese.
Nice. Way to go. Good thing. Good stinking. Good stinking.
That tastes. Plus it tastes way better than cream cheese. You should try it sometime.
Okay, I will try bread and cream cheese. Brilliant. He discovered bread and cream cheese. Thank you for sharing that with me, son. I love you.
Love you too.
If you can't wait, which it's okay if you can't if you're really excited. If you're so excited right now and you can't wait and don't want to wait until next year to start doing that work, to start employing, walking that path, then I invite you to start where I started, only just a couple years ago. Restarted, I should say, with just 5 minutes every day. Choose a time that you can consistently do it. I really like 5 minutes after I wake up or 5 minutes before I go to bed. If you can, do it 10 or 15. But start small. Set yourself up for success, right? And say, I'm just going to set a 5-minute snooze. So every morning when my alarm goes off, I hit that snooze button and I know that I have 5 minutes. And in those 5 minutes, what am I going to do? I'm going to cultivate, I'm going to bring my attention here. I'm going to set my intention to just be with myself, right? Just listen. Just be present within my system, especially if it's not something that you normally do. Then spend those 5 minutes just listening, just bearing witness, just noticing. And anything that you find within, this is important too, anything that you find within as you are just bearing witness, meet it with curiosity and willingness. Why do we say curiosity and willingness? Did you expect me to say love and compassion, right? Patience and understanding? Well, guess what? I don't have the capacity for patience and understanding every fucking day. I don't have the capacity to be compassionate when road rage comes out of nowhere. And I'm actually fucking pissed. That's what I'm experiencing, not compassion. And so to deny that truth, that energy, some mornings I wake up from a terrible dream and I'm pretty pissed off that I had to go through that. That energy is still moving through me. If I deny the truth of what my system is experiencing, I immediately shut it down again. Yes, Amanda, curiosity and willingness. I can do that. So when we look at the scale of emotions, right, the frequency of emotion, curiosity and willingness are right there in the middle. That means they're neutral, right? At the very least, we can offer curiosity and willingness. Because if I am curious, what am I doing? How am I meeting myself? With open hands. If I am judgmental, if I condemn it, if I argue with it, fight it, tell it it's not real, if I tell it it's not valuable, what am I doing? I'm meeting it like this. I cannot receive anything, not even dog tongue, if I'm like this. But if I go like this, D, you also, so I wake up without an alarm clock either. So this is one that you can do just, whenever you get up. Or, again, set a timer. I like I said, like you guys saw earlier, I have a couple of these. This is a 5-minute timer. And so sometimes I'll use this and I'll just flip it over. And it doesn't ding. So sometimes I go over a little. And if I feel like I'm done and it's not, and I peek my eye open and it's not done, I just close my eyes back again. Don't make it complicated. Simple, simple, simple. Sometimes the simplest practices are the most profound. Wash rice, carry water. See if you can give, and when we say this, wash rice, carry water, right? Does that mean wash rice and think about every fucking thing that happened to you on that day before you got to washing the rice? Does that mean carrying water and complaining in your head about how fucking heavy the bucket is? No. Wash rice, carry water. means with all of your senses, all of your attention, all of your intention focused on only the simplest parts of that task. Wash rice, carry water. So when you spend these 5 minutes with yourself, give it your time and attention. Give it your all full attention. Nice, Rebecca. Don't sleep more than 10 hours. I wish I could sleep for that long. Let me let this dog out really quick. Come on. Will you let that hot dog back in? Okay. Rebecca, I wish I could give some sleep away. Just put it in the sleep bank, you know, and I'll come take out a withdrawal whenever I need some extra. If only, right? There was a study, and I like studies. There was a study done some years ago. I want to say like in the early 2000s, like it was kind of a while ago, on attention, on our attention. And the question was, the study wanted to know whether or not we can actually focus on more things than one at a time. Because with the advent of all the screens and all the things, right, people are arguing, yeah, I can totally multitask. The results of this study unequivocally said that your attention is a finite resource. And you can put all of it on one thing, or you can put less of it on more things. Yes, we can multitask several different things, but it does separate and reduce our attention on a single thing. Why is that important? Who cares? It's just whatever I'm paying attention to, right? Well, I'm sure you've heard it. What you water grows. What you give your attention to you feed. You call in more. The more you pay attention to it, the more of it you get in your life. Think about when you wanted to buy a different car, and now all of a sudden you're seeing that car everywhere else in the world. It's because you're giving it your attention. And you're looking for it. And the brain likes to be right. And the brain likes to confirm things. So if I'm looking for it, my brain's going to see more of it. Thank you, brain. Not very insightful, but effective. We know that once upon a time, science thought, that time and space itself was a stage. And that we all moved along this stage. Time moved along this stage. And interaction moved along this stage. But the stage was static. Turned out to be false. That's what I love about science, is we'll believe something as fact and then we'll find it false. Oh, look, it's not a fact anymore. And the fact became that time and space are actually relative to something else. There's something else that's static. That's light. The speed of light is as static as a constant in the universe. So everything else is relative to light. My attention, the light of my awareness, the way that I bring light to something when I gaze at it. Yes, when I give it my attention. My attention is a kind of light, like a flashlight. I can direct, and I can really focus in, Imagine like when you're doing an art project or something like that and you're super in flow and totally focused. Your experience of time and space is a little bit different than when you're scattered and thinking about something else while you're driving home and you miss several blocks and you go, oh shit, I was so not even here. I don't remember those blocks. Time and space are relative to your attention. My attention is a finite resource. If I give something all of my time, all of my attention, I change the quality of my experience. This is what mindfulness, meditation, is all about. Learning to cultivate your attention and align it with your intention. See, if my intention is to do the dishes, but my attention is distracted by the dog, I might not get the dishes done very well or at all. If my intention is to complete, to write a letter to somebody, but my attention is distracted by the TV or the kid or whatever, that doesn't get done. But if I give the letter I'm writing all of my attention, then I become absorbed, yes, through my senses, in the experience. And the other things happening outside of me kind of fall away, right? Because my attention is not on them. This is a really important thing. So much so that I call this these pillars of mindfulness. Because I think this is the most foundational piece. Let's not even talk about complicated meditations. Let's not talk about complicated asanas. Let's not talk about mudras or mantras or any of the other tools. Start from the ground floor. Start from the baseline. My intention is like my North Star. This is my guiding light. And if I am aware, right, I want to align my intention with my values. In fact, whether I'm aware or not, my intention is influenced by my beliefs and values, right? I want to make sure that if my intention is to, whatever it is, that it is aligned with my values. I hopefully won't hang an intention in front of me that's not aligned with my values, right? That would be really weird. You think of that, you're like, yeah, no, you don't fucking do that. You don't set an intention that you don't believe in, even casually. We don't think we do. So I set my intention for those 5 minutes every morning to just be present with me. Just meet me. 5 minutes, that's my intention. I hang it out in front of me like my North Star. My attention is my compass. Now, I use my attention to keep me focused on my intention. And I will keep traveling in the direction of my intention, staying present with myself during these 5 minutes. But inevitably, especially if this is a new practice for me, my attention is going to get drawn away to some other wandering of the mind, or maybe a pain in my toe or a sound I heard somewhere else, right? Because I'm not used to keeping this aligned. I'm not used to navigating like this. So my brain and my body, who are used to redirecting, will be like, hey, remember that thing we were worried about? You need to fucking get out of bed. You shouldn't be sitting here doing this. You have other things to do today. What do? My ship's now way over here. Do I bitch at myself? Mm-mm. Do I give up and fucking walk off? Mm-mm. I am curious and willing. Huh. Look at that. I was just focusing on me, and then my brain came up with this whole thing over here. Hold on. Guys, this is what we're focusing on. Bring your attention back to your intention and return to the practice. And every time your ship starts to wander away from that intention, you bring it back. Gently. Doesn't have to be lovingly. but with curiosity and willingness. Okay? We are building trust with ourselves. As we journey within our inner cosmos, if we come in wearing armor and brandishing swords and starting fights and judging and yelling at everybody, no one is going to open their doors for us. No one is going to be willing to have a conversation with us. Our defenders will stay in their defenses. This is why it's important to be curious and willing at the very least. To leave the tension at home. It doesn't belong on your ship. Okay? This is my entire practice. Those 5 minutes every morning when you're meeting yourself, nothing more, nothing less. Stay here. And when you cultivate this and you start to get a habit built, right? Doesn't take long for your body and your mind to start going, oh, this is what we're doing. Okay. It's in this space that vulnerable parts of you will start to come to the surface. Imagine if you felt unheard and unseen for so fucking long, and then someone came into the room and was like, tell me everything you want to tell me, what the fuck is wrong with you? What's the matter? Why are you crying all the time, right? Somebody came in aggressive, somebody came in combative, somebody came in accusing us, judging us. Would we be vulnerable with them? Fuck no. Don't expect yourself to be vulnerable if you're being combative and judgmental. But imagine again, that same scenario, but this time the other person just holds space. If you cry, if you yell, if you're angry, if you're sad, if you're confused, if your mind is so busy and it's feeling a little frenetic in your body, doesn't matter what you do. This person sits holding space, ready to listen, curious and willing. Would you be more likely to share your vulnerabilities, share your fears, share your concerns and your anguish with that person? Of course. I said I like studies. Brene Brown did a study on trust. And she said, in a TED Talk, of course, that she did, that when she first started the study, she expected trust would happen in big, sweeping things. We build trust, she thought, her hypothesis, was when those big things happen. And into the study, as she was getting into the study, she was like, oh my gosh, no. Trust happens in the tiniest little moments. So give yourself the opportunity. You deserve, at the very least, 5 minutes a day. I know that most of us received the messages when we were very young that we're not valuable just as we are, but you are valuable just as you are. You are valuable just as you are. You are perfect. You are a fucking miracle. And your purpose is to resonate this energetic song, this frequency, this music that is uniquely yours. We need your gift. If you weren't needed, you wouldn't be here. There are no accidents, and everything is an accident, right? Chaotic and not all that micro. Shh, pirates. I like to think of humanity like a chorus. For this song to ring true through the universe, we need every voice. It's that Cindy Lou Who Yop that gets the song heard by the kangaroo, right? And Horton Hears a Who. We need your voice. And the only person who can find your voice, your song, is you. It's a weird trick of being human, and yes, we can receive information and guidance and understanding and reflections from everybody outside of us, but ultimately we are intrinsically stuck inside of our subjective experience. And so there's a layer under which no one else can get, which is also kind of comforting. There's a place that no one can reach within me. This is my temple. This is where God exists. This is where divinity exists within you, breathes with you, listens to you as you bitch at yourself and judge yourself, and sits with you as you hold space, as you cultivate compassion, as you argue with yourself and give yourself permission. One of the most profound things that I received on my journey is that God is not way out there. Divinity is the resonance, is the frequency of everything. And the question is, if you knew that you held God in your heart right here, that God felt and experienced and saw and understood and heard everything that you went through, then how would you treat yourself? How would you treat others if you knew that God lived in them? They say things like, God's always watching, right? These like, oh no, somebody's going to punish you kind of things. But what if you realized that it was always right here, always living within you? Would you speak differently to yourself? Would you speak differently to others? Not to encourage, external value, like, oh, I shouldn't speak to others, otherwise God will smite me or whatever it is. But I found it really helped. I found that it changed a lot. And when I see people outside of me who I perceive in a way that's judgmental, I can remember they are also an expression of God. No, I don't believe there are mistakes. It's just experience. And we need every part of the experience, every voice in the chorus, every note of the song for it to resonate. Just like the body needs every part of the body to function. Right? And I want to say how much I love my eyes, or how much I love my hair, or how much I love my feet, or whatever. I might say I love those parts of me, just like I look out around me and I say, oh, I love people who are like that. Oh, I love people who are like that. But then when I come across an asshole, I go, ugh, that asshole sucks. I hate assholes. Yet you need your asshole to process the shit. You need that, like the sweaty armpits, to process the toxins out of your system. We don't sit here and, well, maybe we do, judge our armpits and be like, oh, that stinks. So next time you run across somebody who has a stinky attitude, remember, thank you for being the armpit today so that I can choose not to. I don't need to be the armpit today. Thank you for doing it for us. And then when parts of me stink, when parts of me are ugly and gross, I remember we need all the parts to process all of the energy, to move all of the things so we can find alignment. All right, my friends, I need to, that's a new way to look at it, Rebecca. It's my favorite. Again, this is why I'm the shenanigan shaman, why I've gotten the title, I guess. It really helps to weave playfulness into these things, right? So in those 5 minutes when I'm laying there in bed in the morning and part of me becomes stinky and rude and whatever, I just remember I'm processing some shit. Remember that every moment of tension in your mind, in your breath, in your body, in your emotions, and all of it is just a check engine light, an indicator that something is out of balance. When we are balanced, there is no tension in our systems. You can see this example by standing on one foot. When you find balance, your muscles relax, and you are staying balanced with your intention, not with tension. So if there's tension, this is the easiest way, right? Red light, green light. Is there tension or not? If there's tension, I meet it with curiosity and willingness, right? I give it my attention, and I meet it with curiosity and willingness. Because a lot of times, we are just really fucking gassy. Remember, this is a finite system, and if I store finite things like my emotions in my finite system, what happens? They rot, they fester, they fucking stew. Keep trying to shove your anger down and tell me how it just goes away, right? It just goes away, right? No. No, it harbors, festers, and comes out sideways later because they need to be expressed. Imagine your emotions. I like to imagine my emotions like belches or farts. Some emotions are stinkier than others, right? Does that mean I need to lock somebody in the car with me and fart up a fucking storm and let my entire gas belly go? No, that's rude as fuck. But we do that with our emotions. We corner others and we demand that they fucking get all up in our stink. And we blame them for the things that we fester and store inside of ourselves that repeatedly come out belching at everybody around us. Word vomit. So next time there's a little gurgle in your gut or in your brain, be curious and see if there's a way that you can give yourself permission to let the energy move through without having to belch in somebody's face. This is how we take responsibility. Responsibility. Sorry, another one of my favorite things. Responsibility. What is responsibility? My ability to respond. That's all. Responsibility is my ability to respond. If I'm not being responsible and responding, using my ability to respond, I am reacting, which means I am repeating the actions from my past. Repeating actions. Reaction or responsible. Able to respond. And ultimately, it's a very imperative thing that I cultivate my ability to respond. Why? Because I am the only one who can do that inside of me. In fact, are you ready? Are you ready? No, sorry, the dog got excited. Everything I experience in my life is an experience within me. Everything I experience in my life is an experience within me. You say, nuh-uh, because I can see all of this stuff outside of me, right? Okay, but where do you see it? Do your eyes see it away from you, or is it the reflection as the light comes in through your eyes and in your brain? Oops, yeah, it does actually happen inside my brain, huh? My sense of smell. When my dog farts over there, I don't smell it until it comes here, until it comes into my system, until my olfactory whatever things receive the information. Dog fart. Sound. Yeah, it sounds like there's stuff out there and far away and near, but where am I experiencing it? In the vibration of my ear. Okay, but I can touch things, Rev. I can touch. That's your only experience of the world, is inside of you. So ultimately, our biggest task is learning to respond to what happens inside of us. Cultivate the ability to respond to what happens inside of us. That is how you become responsible. And when you become responsible in that way, you also cultivate your sense of autonomy and power, personal power, realizing that no one else has power over you because nothing happens except for inside of you. The only thing you're responsible for is what's going on inside of you. No one else is responsible for it. Oh, Jessica, even seeing is purely as translation of frequencies. Color doesn't exist outside of the mind. Yeah. Well, the spectrum of frequencies, like you said. And my ability to perceive those frequencies in and of itself is very limited. By my nature, I am completely subjective. There isn't, for all intents and purposes, the entire universe is happening inside of me. But we live in a culture that tells you everything real and valid is the world outside of you. It focuses on the tangible, the hammer and nail, the things that I can touch, taste, see, and right, and my senses. My senses and only my senses can prove that the world lives outside of me. But it doesn't encourage us to use those senses within ourselves. It doesn't encourage us to recognize that we are capable of being responsible for everything that happens in our world. You want to talk about manifestation? People talk about manifestation like a hammer and a nail kind of thing, like you got to force the universe and demand things from the universe. Guess what? When I went fighting the universe for shit, I didn't get a lot, but punched back. There was a lot of getting punched back. When I began to cultivate my ability to respond and perceive what was happening inside of me, abundance actually started happening. Why? Because it's already here. It's already all around you. We manifest our reality by our beliefs and the way that we interact with it and the way that we respond to it and the way that we react, right? The greatest misnomer of all time is that you've been told the exact opposite of what's true. All the power that is available to you in this universe exists inside of you. And you have the ability to literally alter your experience of space and time. A system that thrives on your resources doesn't want you to know that. Because it needs you to buy into the paradigm. It needs you to go continue participating. It needs you to continue to give your attention away. We talked about how important attention is. It bends space and time. My attention, my light of awareness, is the constant. Space and time shift around that. So if somebody wants you to believe a paradigm, a story, a narrative, they need you to buy into and participate in it, believe it. And the narrative says there's no intrinsic value in you. Don't believe them. Don't believe them. And that's why they keep hiding my content. Because it is extremely radical. In a world that wants you to fall in line and maintain be a puppet and maintain your ability to be manipulated, they do not want you to be self-actualized. That's the most radical thing you can do. In a world that would seek to harvest those resources. Think of Neo coming out of the Matrix. The Matrix was a really great fucking movie. The analogies are fantastic. Did you know that Neo, thank you, Juliana, if you're in here for pointing it out to me. Did you know that Neo used mudras in the movie? Yeah. In the Matrix, they are harvesting humans, right? Theodis, resistance is futile because it's not about resistance. It's about presence. If I resist the system, I admit that it has a hold on me. I don't need to fight the system. I can just turn my back to the system. And I can stop believing and reinform my mind and my body about truth. The truth that my ego is my ally, not my enemy. My energy body is a resource of mine that I can use intentionally and directly and indirectly. My greatest purpose in life is to experience the true me and to share that with the world. Not to be a worker for some company that doesn't care. Not to give my children away, my children's minds away to a narrative and beliefs that I don't support. You have so much more power than you've been told. There's an unhealed part of me that is very, 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 very angry at the whole system paradigm that has been lying to everybody for so long. I have a high sense of justice, right? That kind of mental thing. And it like makes me somewhat irate when I really sit with it. Like how misdirected we have been for so long. How manipulated we have been for so long. Rebecca, do I know about the biopods? What do you mean? Like at the end of life, like being buried in a biopod? Or like people, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, turning them into batteries. Brilliant movie. Agreed. They need you to believe that you are not powerful so that you can be victimized by the system. They need you to believe that God is somewhere far away outside of you, so you'll continue to go interacting with the priest and, you know. When I was a kid, when I was in the 90s, in school, I studied marketing manipulation on accident. Actually, not on accident. I took a video productions class, and the teacher, brilliant as he was, sent us home with the only homework we had all year long was to watch commercials. And he didn't outright say, look, they're manipulating you. He said, go home and tell me 2 things about each commercial you see. Just watch like 1 or 2, right? And I want you to tell me what you thought the ad was for and then what it was actually for. That was the entire assignment. The whole year long was our only homework. Now, we worked on making commercials in class, but we never really talked directly about that fact. Only how to use those tools. But of course, it made me go, well, wait a minute. Marketing like this is designed to skip past my decision maker, prefrontal cortex, and activate my lower, baser instinct, ego triggered brain. It is on purpose. It is manipulation. To what end? Let's not argue about to what end. Doesn't matter. What matters is that I don't want to be a puppet. I sure as shit don't want to be a puppet. There ain't no strings on me. But we were born in a system that tied the strings on, that has been pushing and pulling you around. So give yourself some grace. Rebecca, you say once you're aware of it, you can no longer be fooled by it. Yes and no. We don't want to jump, so it's not a switch. Because remember that these strings are woven deeply into who we are, into our most foundational beliefs and habits. Remember we talked earlier about the energy body and the chakra development. So I'm told that I'm not safe in my body and I can't get my needs met unless I do something about it, and maybe I'm told to do things, right? So my ego all develops into all of these things, but that is the integration process of my culture. It's called the inculturation process in human development. In child development. We become enculturated because the body and the ego is tasked with survival. If I don't fit into my culture, I won't survive, right? If I'm too weird or too broken as a baby, like, I might not survive. I have to integrate into my culture. It's an evolutionary imperative. You can't get past it. The body's going to do it. Everybody's body's going to do it. It's to keep you safe. Thanks, body. But that means that there are beliefs and habits and understandings, patterns that are woven deeply into literally our physical body. The way you hold your physical body, the way you walk, the way you talk, the things you say, the things you look at, the things you don't, all of that is your culture, the cultural programming that you received. I try to stay away from the word programming because it starts to get people get nefarious about it, and I'm not talking about that shit. I'm talking about the natural evolutionary process for you to get safe and fit in the world. Okay? Mailman's here. It's the mail. Yeah. I don't know if he needs me to sign. Will you go ask if he needs me to sign something? All of that stuff is woven in. So here's how I like to look at this journey. I like to look at it like, remember those coin things in the mall where if you were at a museum where you put your coin on the edge and it starts to kind of circle around the outside and then gains momentum and sinks into the middle, right? The edges is the life of your culture. You're living on the surface reality, the one that's been sold to you, the matrixy kind of thing, that you're on the edge here, okay? If you start to take this walk home, if you start to take this journey, when you first start, there's a first layer or two, maybe where you'll realize that the journey is available or that you've been sitting on the edge of a... Does he need me to sign?
No,
okay.
But, he said he needs you to get it, and it's in a cardboard box, would probably...
Okay,
like,
I will get it here in a few minutes.
Rip out.
I will get it in.
When,
Baby cakes, I love you.
Love you too, I leave you alone now.
I love you. You don't have to explain to me what happens to a cardboard box in the rain. But thank you. Okay, all right. So we're skirting the edge. And when you first start this work, it's a first layer. It's the onion, right? You start that little bit. And then as you go a little deeper, you'll realize there's another layer of self. Maybe you'll deal with one little layer and you realize there's something else underneath. Okay, well now we'll go a little deeper. And we go a little deeper and we go a little deeper. Now, think about that momentum and that coin. And think about your own journey. If you've done this journey at all and any part of it has already started to come in, you cannot unlearn, you cannot unsee, you cannot unknow, you cannot, right? You cannot unexperience these things. So in that way, your spiritual journey has a kind of gravity to it. The more of these layers you start to explore, the more you can't undo. And eventually, yes, there is a tipping point where your practice begins to clarify your system for you. Usually the first layers of doing self-work seems very material, very tangible, very like, oh, I have to change my habit, I have to do these things. This is the edge. You're still working in the material world. But there's a point of no return. There's a point at which you can't really go back. So it's not for the faint of heart, I guess. It's not for the faint of heart. But remember that when you get through one layer, there is most likely going to be another layer. That this is an exponential unfolding of self. That as soon as you outgrow one space, one room, you're going to just grow out into a bigger one. Sometimes when we first start this work, maybe we'll talk about it a lot. Go to talk therapy, right? Have a counselor or maybe some friends or your spiritual guru, or, a guru or a priest or somebody. You'll have these explorations of it. It happens very here, very, again, very material. I think the place where some people get stuck is that we think that that's the only way to deal with our stuff, is to intellectualize everything, right? Doing that keeps us here on the edge of the path. And we may feel like we are circling spirituality, we're circling our journey for so fucking long, and we keep talking about it, but we're never getting in deeper. There are layers underneath your brain. There are layers underneath your thoughts. There are layers underneath your ego. There are layers underneath your heartbeat, underneath your breath. We cannot access all of those layers by employing the mind. The mind is our intersection with the material. When we explore our inner cosmos, we must be prepared to set down the expectation of wanting to externalize it and be ready to sink into the layers of self where it exists. This is how we find the root. Out here, these are my branches and leaves. This is the trunk of my tree. This is the material manifestation of the interaction between my spirit and the matrix and the world, my spirit and my body. So first and foremost, is cultivating awareness. Cultivate my intention and my attention, and meet everything else with curiosity and willingness. What does this kind of look like? Let's say that I am yet again in another argument with my partner. Let's say I'm yet again arguing with my partner. And in the middle of me arguing with my partner, there's this moment of awareness. Have you ever had those? Like a spark of light that goes, oh, fuck, we're doing this again. But usually we feel so damn justified and angry and emotional and whatever, we just say, fuck it. Oh well, it's their fault that we're doing it again. Next time you have that spark of awareness, I invite you to grab it, like catching a firefly. And hold it here, in your heart or in your mind. Give it your attention. That spark of awareness. I like to think of them like fireflies or like little fairies. Like if I'm stuck in a tunnel of darkness, which is usually the reactivity, I'm not in the present moment. I'm reactive and we're repeating these same fucking patterns and we're having the same argument over again. You know where I am? Way back there. Not here in the present moment. So when the gift of awareness comes and passes in front of my eyes, I go, oh, wait, where am I? What's going on? Is this where I want to be? And if the answer is nope, then the question is, how can I redirect? Lead me out. Sometimes just by giving our awareness, that moment, that attention, what you'll notice is the energy will dissipate. The energy will change. Just by holding on to that awareness. This is the way we walk ourselves out of ignorance. Ignorance is darkness. It's our proverbial tunnel. That means that enlightening the system, enlightenment, is just a process of bringing light into the darkness. Awareness into our ignorance. Where does my attention exist? Thank you, friend. Here and now. So if I'm going to enlighten my system, the only place I can do that is right here and right now. All the gifts of the universe, all the love, trust, abundance, all the things I want, all the things I need are right here, right now. I often don't see them because I have been conditioned not to. Because I have blinders on, and I like to say it like our society puts us against a wall with a little opening and says, you see, everything you need is on the other side. And if you just keep pushing against this wall, I swear, someday you'll be rewarded. The reality is that if we collectively turned ourselves away from that wall, that hole in the wall, we would realize that the entire universe is available to us. Everything we need is available to us. And I'm not talking from some hyperbole or some philosophical whatever. I'm actually talking about an analogy, I guess a metaphor, of personal experience. Because I spent my whole life trying to push through life like this, trying to push past the wall so I could break through, trying to get through the ignorance the way that they told me to go through. And it nearly took my life. Those of you who've been around for a while know more of that story. But it nearly put me under. And there was a point at which, a couple years ago, where I lost every last spoon that I had. And had it not been for my son, I wouldn't be here. Really. Him being there was the only reason that I had any reason to do anything. It was in that surrender. I didn't even have spoons to fight myself anymore. I didn't have spoons to fight the universe anymore. I didn't have spoons to fight anybody anymore. There was no armor, nothing. And in that totally vulnerable, show me what you got, because I got nothing. For the first time in my life, I found me. I fell in love with me by spending 15 minutes every day with myself. Not trying to change anything, not trying to do anything about it, not trying to judge myself or fix myself, or just to validate me. And what happened is the more I did that, the longer I did that, the more the vulnerable parts of me started to communicate more. The more I started to feel into what was actually for me and what wasn't. And the less my reactivity, my ego tried to fight. Remember, tension is just your system saying, hey, I need your attention. The physical pain, right, and now the chronic condition in my neck comes from this. I am not paying attention if I'm walking around life like this. But what am I doing? I'm protecting my energy. That is deeply woven into my very structure. How do I get at that layer? I have to go inside. I have to go inside the self. And I don't bring down the defenses by being combative with myself. The most powerful thing, for example, for this particular habit, has been just following my awareness. In the last several years, I have spent, I can't even count how many hours of noticing. I'm out in the grocery store doing my thing, I'm talking to somebody, and all of a sudden, that moment of awareness passes my thing, and I'm like, oh shit, my shoulder's up. Hi, it's okay. We're safe. And then when it starts to creep up again, hi, are you okay? no, I just really don't want to be in the grocery store right now. That one person looked at me that way and I feel like they're following me and this, maybe I can have a little conversation with myself and say, hey, we're just going to check out. Look, we're already here at the checkout line. Let's take some deep breaths and just walk out, okay? And get through our stuff and walk out. Or maybe it's a situation where my belly is just going, hoo, 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 hoo. And I'm like, I don't even know what's wrong. I can't explain it, but it's screaming at me. You know what? I can go ahead and go sit in my car and take some deep breaths and give it my attention. And maybe it won't ever say anything to me, right? Maybe I might not hear, oh God, I'm scared. Maybe it's just sitting and allowing the feeling to roll through you. It's okay. Inhale, validating it. This is a real feeling, a real sensation, a real reaction that doesn't matter where it's from or what it's for. It's real, it's here, it lives within me, and I don't want to reintegrate it into me. So I'm going to inhale, make space for it to validate it, and I'm going to exhale and give it permission to leave. You're welcome to go anytime you want. If you have something to say, anxiety, now's the time to speak up. I'm here to listen. Not with judgment, not with guilt, not with shame, not with condemnation, but just curiosity and willingness. Rebecca, getting off. Have a great day. I'm about to head out too. I've got to go have some lunch with my kiddo and play with the dog outside, and then we have to bring our cat to the vet this afternoon. So, thank you guys for holding space, for joining me in this space. Thank you for engaging and asking questions. Come join me in the Discord, because there's more time for that in there. And especially in December, when I will only be doing the once a week scheduled Tiny Yoga, Fridays at 10 a.m. And then I did mention, and I probably will still, I have a book that I have been really wanting to read. It's called The Education of Oversoul 7. Does anybody know this book? It's a trilogy. There's 3 books. They're written by, I think her name is Jane Roberts, I think. But that might be wrong. It's called The Education of Oversoul 7. It's a trilogy. And it is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful story that she channeled. Jessica, you want to read it too? Okay. So what my thought was that in lieu of the normal classes, remember, Tiny Yoga is staying. It won't go anywhere. So in lieu of that, I might start coming on to live. I'll figure out when to do it in December, but I might just come on and we'll read a couple of chapters a couple times a week or something like that. I promise you guys, I will post a schedule once I have one and try to alert you guys when I plan to go live. So keep an eye on my content. Come into, because TikTok likes to hide my stuff, come into my content to check out. There's notifications. Or check out the new stuff. I post like usually every single day. Yeah, unless I'm unwell, then I don't post. So keep an eye out for that. If you want to join me for that story, it's a really beautiful journey. It's, again, The Education of Oversoul 7 is a channeled story where she learns about this concept of an oversoul. And the oversoul is responsible for several other souls. And you go through the story from the perspective of this oversoul, who is learning how to be an oversoul of other souls. And there's some really amazing explorations, really tickle the brain, think outside the box kind of, and fun things. And it's all in the form of a story. So keep an eye out for that. I think that's really the only other live thing that I will be doing besides Tiny Yoga. And that will be just here on TikTok. So over there, YouTube, if you're still running, it doesn't look like you are.